So, I've been looking a lot recently into the Buu saga of Dragon Ball Z. This saga is commonly labeled as the worst saga of the big three, meaning Frieza, Cell, and Buu saga. So, I watched the saga again to understand why people think this is the case. Also, because I just recently completed my first ever long form video about what if all the Dragon Ball sagas happened at the same time. Subtle plug, go watch that video, it's amazing. The saga added many great pieces of lore and historic battles into the series. Fusions using the Potara as well as the fusion dance, new levels of power such as Vegeta's Majin form, Gohan's ultimate or full potential form, and Goku's Super Saiyan 3 state. But none intrigued me like the addition of the newest villain to the franchise, Majin Buu. After watching again, I realized that Majin Buu's hacks and feats of strength are insane, so insane that he could have straight up ended the series multiple times. But fortunately, Toei Animation loves money, and I love Toei Animation. Without Z properly ending, there would be no Super, no Daima, no GT. I kind of would have been cool with that. So I'm grateful that none of these horrible disasters happened. But what if they did? Welcome to 5 ways that Majin Buu could have ended the Dragon Ball franchise. But before we start, make sure to destroy that like button with the spirit bomb and subscribe to the channel while you're at it. Alright, let's get right into it. Number 1 is probably the most obvious and blunt way of ending the series, so I'm just going to quickly glaze over it. This is if Buu simply didn't care about fighting and went directly to the thought of just blowing up the planet. This probably wouldn't be the case with Majin Buu. This would probably be either Evil Buu, Super Buu, base form, or most likely Kid Buu. I say most likely for Kid Buu because he literally tried this in canon. If Vegeta never stopped that blast from hitting the Earth, the entire planet would be destroyed, ending the series pretty easily. Goku could vouch for this claim since he states after the blast that, I'm just gonna let him say it.
Whoa, he's mad! That blast had enough power to destroy the entire planet! Nice shot, man.
What a fool! Does he want to die too?
So, safe to say that this is the easiest and most boring way it could be game over. Buu blows up the planet, Buu regenerates, Buu goes on with his day. Fair enough. Number 2. Buuhan successfully absorbing Vegito rather than turning him into candy. The Buuhan-Vegito fight was one of the best in the saga, although it was very apparent that Buu is outclassed once Vegito entered the Super Saiyan form. He tries a few tactics such as going into Vegito's body to destroy him from the inside, as well as straight up turning him into candy, but nothing really worked since Vegito simply outclassed the Majin in power. But what if Buuhan was able to get a cheap shot, throwing off Vegito just enough time for him to simply encase the fusion? This type of absorption on a fusion certainly is possible, and was confirmed by Buu absorbing Gotenks earlier before the Gohan fight. A little off topic, but I don't know how Super Saiyan 3 Fusion lost to Super Buu, but that's something that always pissed me off, but whatever, back on topic. It's definitely possible, and Buugito would be absolutely terrifying. After Vegito's taken down, there's really nothing Earth can do to stop the Majin. The only fighters, I'm using this word very loosely here, left to combat Buugito are Tien, who's passed out by the way, Mr. Satan, Dende, and the Kais, which are Kibito Kai and Old Kai at this point. I mean, I could maybe see Dende teaming up with the Kais in order to find a way to undo the absorption method, but that's highly unlikely. Safe to say that the main outcome of this would be planetary, and it's not reaching to say universal destruction. This scenario makes a great interval over to number 3, Majin Buu killing the Supreme Kai. This point could really have been done by any variation of Buu, Kid Buu, all variations of Super Buu, and even Majin Buu if the big boy was hungry enough. We honestly don't have a ton of information on just how strong the Supreme Kai is. I sort of base his strength on the fact that he was completely terrified of Super Saiyan Goku during the Buu saga when he was aiming the beam at his face, so safe to say he would probably get steamrolled by any form of Majin Buu. So why would the Supreme Kai dying change anything? Well, one smaller reason is that if Shin died earlier when Majin Buu first hatched, Gohan would have never been Kai-Kai'd over to the land of the Kais, and would have never unlocked the ultimate form. Therefore, he would get beaten and absorbed a hell of a lot faster in canon than his Super Saiyan 2 form in this scenario. And Buu would most likely get bored and blow up the Earth. But that's just a smaller reason. The main reason actually has to do with after the Buu saga. Let's say that Kaioshin is killed on a whim after Gohan's potential was unlocked. Everything goes normal, just like canon. Buu saga is completed, and 2-3 years down the line, Beerus shows up. Well, no, not exactly. When Shin dies, Beerus dies, so there's no way that the Z saga could branch into the Super saga without the introduction of Beerus, therefore ending the series early. Well, technically, it would just be an entirely different story that wouldn't really involve the gods, for all we know. But I'm still going to count it as a series end. Alright, time for number 4, Hercule failing to befriend Buu. It's sort of a stretch for most people to believe that Hercule could have ended the series, but hear me out. If Hercule never defended the poor little dog in the early Buu saga, he would have never had the chance to try and befriend Majin Buu. Without this act of kindness, Majin Buu would have most likely turned Satan into chocolate, which honestly would not affect much, until the end of the Z saga. A lot of people seem to forget this, but when Goku asked the people of Earth to aid in Majin Buu's death by lending their energy for the Spirit Bomb, everyone had no idea who he was, and didn't even attempt to help him out. It was only after Hercule got on the theoretical loudspeaker that the people on Earth lent their energy because they heard a familiar voice, the voice of a true Earth hero, I guess. I don't know. So without the great and powerful Mr. Satan, Goku would have never been able to build up the spirit bomb that eventually destroyed the Majin. Here, Goku and Vegeta would have eventually been killed or eaten, which would have left Majin Buu alone for long enough to destroy the planet, once again ending the Dragon Ball Z saga. So the next time you disrespect Hercule, just know that he saved your verse, as well as your favorite characters, from being sent to the Otherworld. And finally, the fifth way Kid Buu could have ended it all. This one could have truly been the end-all scenario. Number 5. Kid Buu destroying the Otherworld. If Kid Buu was truly just able to run rampant when he Kai-Kai'd over to the Otherworld, it definitely would have meant the end of Dragon Ball. Just imagine if Kid Buu made his way over to King Yema's place. If the king dies and the decision room is destroyed, I don't know what it's really called, but I'm just going to call it the decision room because Yema decides where the soul goes. Every person and soul coming to the afterlife is going to forever be in purgatory, therefore ending the saga. If nobody can be revived or brought back in order to defeat the Majin, Kid Buu would theoretically win and destroy the universe. Until Whis, Daishinkan, or Grand Zeno comes and puts an end to it, then it would just be wraps for everybody. But you could basically say that for any of these scenarios. I mean, who's really left to fight Buu here? Pikkon, Yamcha, Krillin? Yeah, they're getting messed up. The only person here I could see putting up a good fight is Pikkon. But we saw what happened to Pikkon against Janemba. He got beat. Bad. So safe to say that Kid Buu solos here. Well, that's about all I got now for how Buu ends Dragon Ball. Feel free to leave a comment in any way Majin Buu could have ended the series in the comment section below. Also feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. Alrighty, see y'all in the next one.